So you know what's funny about free agency, right? For me, it's like I know the reality of the situation is that not everyone could come back, but it's like in my head, everyone could come back, but then when reality strikes and you see a former commander sign with another team, it just hits a little different. I say that to say Dyami Brown coming back for me was always a guarantee. And it felt like after his postseason run, how could you go against that? But now with the addition of Debo Samuel and with how other free agent wide receivers are coming available, it's a strong possibility that Dyami Brown does not return to the Washington Commanders. Let's talk about it.
The way that we live is not for everybody. We're going to run and put our bodies on people in a violent manner. I love the way she move it, shake it on me. When she cry for him, and Shawty is the winner. You can tell that Shawty's on.
You know what time it is. It's time to come out.
I love the way she move it, shake it on me.
Hey y'all, it's your man Juan Gotti here. Before we get into today's video, I want you guys do me a favor, subscribe to my fitness channel as I'm documenting my journey from fat to fit. Link down below in the description. YouTube, what's going on? It's Juan Gotti here. We on the Washington Commanders video, and in today's video, I'm coming on here with the video where we're going to be talking about Dyami Brown drawing significant interest across the league and how it seems it's very unlikely for Washington to bring him back. So without further ado, let's get straight into today's video. Before we do, make sure you guys go down below, leave a like on this video, subscribe to the channel if you are new, turn on post notifications so you get notified when I upload new videos like this to the channel. One road to 9,000 subscribers, so we greatly appreciate if you can reach that goal as soon as possible. Thank you so much. Let's get straight into today's video. So to be completely honest with you, I wanted Dyami Brown back. I wanted us to bring him back for the specific reason of the postseason that he just put up. I'm thinking, okay, he can go on with, continuing to build momentum into the future. And he was, quite frankly, one of the younger receivers that we had alongside Luke McCaffrey. However, the one thing that I never really took into full consideration is the stage that Dyami Brown performed on. It's different if he performed in obscurity at 1 p.m. Sunday, week 6 versus the Chargers or somebody like that. But he showed up at the biggest time possible in the Tampa Bay Buccaneers game, in the Detroit Lions game. He showed up when the whole world was watching. So given the fact that he had his best games when everyone was watching and he was a free agent, I should have known that it was going to create a market. But I always have a soft spot for players because I feel like they would do favors for the team in a sense. And what I mean by that is Dyami, in my opinion, I feel like would come back to Washington and take less money because he knows what we're building. He's been here for the last 4 years. He's very close with Terry McLaurin. But the reality of the situation, and I don't blame him one bit for it, is that most players that are in his shoes, that are 4th, 3rd round picks, that aren't guaranteed the big money on their rookie deal, wants to chase the bag. And if that's the case, by all means, DB, go get your bread, Brody. I respect it, and I'm not disappointed or mad at you at all. My thing is, for me personally, as a Washington Commanders fan, I liked what he was building. Now, his whole body of work for the last 3 years prior to the postseason explosion really didn't warrant nobody to want him back. Like, that's just the pure honesty in it. But again, how he performed in the postseason made me comfortable with wanting to give him a 1-year, maybe 2-year deal max. And my 2-year deal max was probably like 2 years, maybe 10 million, a season or something like that, or 10 million total, like 5 million per year. And his market may completely be bigger than that for the consideration of how and where he performed. Now, with Washington adding Debo Samuel, I wouldn't necessarily say that closes the door on Dyami Brown because Dyami isn't going to cost nearly as much as a Debo Samuel, but what I will say is with Devontae Adams coming available, with Stephon Diggs coming available, I genuinely see Washington going veteran heavy. Cooper Kupp's soon to be released and he's made available. I see us having an all veteran receiving core next year, and you maybe draft another receiver in the draft or somebody like that to be the young guy alongside Luke McCaffrey. That's why I genuinely wanted Dyami Brown back, because Dyami was 24, 25 years old, and Terry is 29, gonna be 30 very soon. You bring in let's just say hypothetically you bring in a Cooper Kupp, he's 31. Cooper Kupp may have 2 good years left in him, if that, and Dyami could understudy him and learn the ropes from not only Terry McLaurin but also Cooper Kupp. and Debo Samuel, and those are three vets that have done it at the high level. And then he could be ready to rock and roll at 27, 28 years old as like the main number 2 receiver. However, that just doesn't seem like that's going to be the situation for Dyami. I genuinely feel that Dyami may end up going somewhere where a team is willing to pay him the money that he desires and has the bigger hole at the wide receiver 2 position or wide receiver 3 position, because technically, although we know as Washington Commanders fans, we're not done addressing the wide receiver market to the rest of the NFL, they may look at the Debo Samuel addition like, oh, okay, Washington found their number 2 alongside Terry McLaurin, so that makes Dami Brown expendable, which in a sense it does, because again, Dami Brown, although he did have a good postseason, he's not nobody that you could not afford to lose. You could definitely find a Dyami Brown replacement. That's not what I'm telling you. I know you can. But again, I like to keep the camaraderie. I like to keep, in-house. And I like to see players build from ground up. And the fact that I've rooted for Dami Brown so heavy all 4 seasons. And 2022, after the 2-touchdown game against Tennessee and a couple flashes, I always expected him to blow up, and it never did due to the lack of opportunities, and then also having a fair share of him not taking advantage of his opportunities when he got them. I always felt like he was just there but never given the right time and opportunity. Then with a bunch of injuries down the stretch of this past season, the opportunities start to come, and then he started to get more comfortable, and then he had the big 2 postseason games. So, I was always a big fan of DB, and I wanted him to, come back, but that's just a part of the game, ladies and gentlemen. That's just the honest truth about it, is when you're good, and you're good on the main stage, other people's going to want your spot. You know what I'm saying? Other people's going to want your stuff. So, there's other teams out there that are eyeballing Dami Brown. Now, it's not complete just, complete like he's not coming back. Like, there's no fine print saying that's the case. However, it's looking likely that he probably won't come back because he may be too expensive. And if that's the case, I'm not mad at him for it, because it's like, okay, if we already know we're going to address the wide receiver more, when we don't want to spend big on Dyami, if his market requires a lot, than originally thought, where it's like we'll rather take a chance on a Cooper Kupp or Devontae Adams and then draft Dami Brown's replacement in the draft on a cheaper deal contract. And I'm only throwing out Cooper Kupp and Devontae Adams because they're the 2 guys that are coming to my mind right now. Devontae Adams just got released today, so he's a free agent. Obviously, Cooper Kupp has been on a trade block and is soon to be a free agent if they can't, find a trade partner. So that's the reason why I'm throwing those 2 guys out there. But I genuinely, personally do think Washington will go all veteran receivers. And shoot me. I know y'all want a lot of young talent in the wide receiver room, but I'm fine. And I predicted this a couple weeks ago, to where I said I think Washington may end up going, all veteran receivers to be your starters. And obviously you have Luke McCaffrey. Now, at first I thought Dami Brown, but maybe not him now. Maybe you have a young guy. You know what I'm saying? And then probably Noah Brown or somebody like that. But I think Dami Brown's good. I think he plays really well in his offense. I don't know if he'll thrive in nobody else's offense, so that's also another situation that could also end up being dodged bullet in a sense. Like, it's not that Dami Brown's not good, but what if he goes to New England and he's not able to thrive in that offense, and he was really just perfect in this offense because of Cliff Kingsbury? That's also another thing. But for me, if I had to predict, I think Dami Brown now, he ends up somewhere else, and Adam Peters, they're like, we want him back, and we would love to have him back, but if we can't have him back, we ain't stressing. It's Dyami Brown at the end of the day. Again, I don't want to make it bigger than what it actually was. I just genuinely think he fits here perfectly, but it's not a guy that you cannot afford to lose. Again, he had 300 plus receiving yards prior to the big games that he had, right? And then in the seasons prior to that, he really ain't put up nothing crazy at all. He had 308 yards this regular season, and I don't want to diminish that, but because that was really big, 308 yards, especially in the postseason. But it's not nobody that you can ill afford to lose, is essentially what I'm trying to say. So let me know how y'all feel about it, though. Do you think Dyami Brown potentially not coming back to Washington is a big loss? How would you go about replacing him? Is it Jaden Higgins? Is it the guy Tez from the draft? Is it do you go higher and get Trey Harris? It's a couple great receivers. Isaiah Bond is another guy that I've been hearing about. Who knows? you do need to find that deep threat now if you lose Dami Brown, because he was one of the only guys that could take the top off of the defense. That is the true thing about it, and he was one of the guys that could run screens the best. Now, with having Deebo Samuel here, that doesn't necessarily become a requirement of his, because we got Deebo, who we know specifies in that as well. But top end speed, deep ball tracking, you know, and just being able to get through the knife of the defense, that was Dyami all day. So maybe losing Dyami, we have to go out and get a burner, a speedster, a 6-foot demon. Who was that 6'3", 6'4" guy that ran a 4.3 in the draft? That would be on the combine. That would be absolutely insane for us to get our hands on. But essentially, though, I say that to say it's looking unlikely, and things may not be looking good for him to return. How Juan Gotti feels, I wanted him back, but I'm not tripping off of it. Ain't like we lost somebody crazy, you know, but I would love to have him back, and I hope we do. I hope he takes a pay cut, and he comes back and we're able to continue this run that we have with Dyami. But if we don't, that's cool. You know what I'm saying? Wish him the best. And there are other veteran options that we could turn to in this free agency. I know Devontae Adams may not be a popular name, but it wouldn't surprise me if Adam Peters went in to get Devontae Adams. He's a free agent now, so you may not have to pay him crazy amount of money. You could just go get him and bring him in. But I don't know if that's going to happen, but that's just what I feel at this current moment. Let me know what you guys think about this video in the comment section down below. Dami Brown may not be coming back to Washington. Let me know. As always, me, boy, Juan Gotti. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe to the channel. 109,000 subscribers. We greatly appreciate if you reach that goal as soon as possible. Thank you so much. God bless and stay safe. Be easy out there. Peace.
Ballin' like I'm Deshaun, throw the bomb, G. That's IG, my jersey never seen a line.